Welcome to Behind the Slate, where I sit down with fellow voice actors and other industry artists to have a fireside chat. I'm your host, Christian O'Boyle. If you'd like to know more about me, please check out my website at christianoboyle.com. In this episode, I'll be talking with Trey, also known as VT in the animation world, a 2D animator who has been animating for over 7 years. He's partnered with Channel Frederator and has had the opportunity to work with some of the biggest YouTubers on the platform. He runs his own channel, VT Animation, which now has 50,000 subscribers, and is currently in development of 2 projects, Jenna Harley in the Universe Machine and Monologamation. So what initially got you into animation?
Um, well, it must have started when I was like, probably like 7 years old. Because I used to do like stop motion animation because I was like a really big fan of Gumby at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and but I always wanted to like make something. I wasn't sure how, but I always wanted to make something, and I would often go to Michael's. I would pick up some clay. I would make characters, and I would get my grandfather's camera and over the summer I would make these short films with like these little clay figures, and that's how it started. But when we were talking about like 2D animation, 3D animation, that was probably 2010. I was just starting to go to college, and I was really interested in that whole process. So it began with 3D, and it was a little bit limited, and I couldn't really do much with it.
Hmm.
So I switched over to 2D, and I was just like, oh, I have control over everything now.
Infinite possibilities.
Infinite power. And so I just started animating in 2D, and it's been about 7 years strong, 7 or 8 years strong.
So
Yeah.
how did you find your style? Because your animation style is a little bit minimalist, but at the same time
Mhm.
very fluid, and it feels connected at the same time.
So I think that was the method I kind of pulled from Craig McCracken, because he has always said like he wants to create characters that kids can draw.
Mhm.
And in my head, I was just like, well, if I make them as simple as possible, but still fluent and animated, then that's a win-win. Um, because initially I didn't want to animate like that.
Mhm.
I what I really had in mind was just like that traditional kind of like, web animated, frame by frame kind of stuff. But
Right.
over time, I guess I kept pressuring myself to do a little bit better and then a little bit better. And once I've seen like animators online like Eagle Raptor and Oni and Psychic Pebbles, I was just like, okay, I need to step up my game, like
Yeah.
for real. So it kind of leads in what's being shown today, something that's is like you said, it's very limited, but it's still very fluent.
Mhm.
So
Mhm. Yeah, so because when I initially saw it, I was like, that's very simple.
mhm.
But at the same time, the way the characters move just felt natural. It just felt real. And by the time you watch 30 seconds of it, you're already drawn in to the world that you've created.
Mm.
So transitioning, when did you start becoming a full-time animator from the time you started animating in 2D?
I think when I was starting my YouTube channels when I think I started to become professional. Because that was honestly at like one of the worst times of my life, because I just left college due to some very unfortunate circumstances,
Hmm.
and I think I took maybe about a good 9 months off because I was just so defeated and just like out of it. And I talked to a lot of people, and they were just like, "Well, look, I mean, you can sit and you can mope all you want, but like, you have to do something.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Just something, anything." So I had this YouTube channel up where I was going to put like my college work, and I was just like, "Well, since I'm not using it for college anymore, I'll just use it for something else." So I started doing like Game Grumps animations and just various other stuff, and it started to have a little bit of a following. And I was just like, maybe I should keep pursuing this.
Hmm.
And it just led to bigger and greater things.
Awesome. So is YouTube your main income as an animator?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Especially now, like it is not at all.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. It's because I'm pretty sure we're gonna talk about this, but like COPPA is a huge issue. But no, it's a mixture of things because yeah, you can get like a paycheck every so often by YouTube. But my main income is like a lot of commission work. Like it's mainly on YouTube too.
Right.
Which is I don't know if it's meta or if it's just a huge coincidence that like even when I'm not making money on YouTube, I'm still making money on YouTube in a way.
Yeah.
You know,
Catch-22.
Yeah, it's a strange little cycle, but
Right.
yeah, yeah, it's a lot of my stuff is on YouTube right now. So like if you look up like I think the biggest one is Lauren's side. She has like 5 animations stemming back from like 2013. And then other people like Joey Graceffa, if people have heard of him, and Yami and Big B Stacks and stuff like that. So.
Okay. So in regards to COPPA, which we brought up, what are your thoughts and maybe your concerns on how this is going to affect you and how this is maybe going to affect the platform in general?
Well, I think as far as animation goes, I think it affects like everybody, you know, because when people think about like cartoons, they usually think, oh, kids love cartoons, you know. So that immediately puts us in the corner, you know, and I know for a fact that like all the animations on YouTube are not kid friendly. You know what I mean? So it really does kind of like it categorizes us. And I think that's such a huge issue because all of us want to grow, all of us want to stay on the platform, and all of us, you know, want to make income off of this, but we honestly can't anymore if COPPA goes through. You know, like I think, you know, one of the biggest channels on there is the Odd Ones Out, and because his channel is so quote unquote kid friendly, he could lose everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or like Jaden Animations. I mean, like all of us are doomed if this thing goes through.
Yeah.
So I hope that either YouTube and COPPA or like the creators and YouTube can like come to some solid ground because this hurts everybody in the process.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now I was thinking, there's kind of this for kids, not for kids. There's no middle. And so a lot of people fall into this gray area and they're like, well, what do I do? It's not necessarily made for kids and it's not necessarily made for adults.
Right.
In the FTC, in the articles, one of the articles actually state that general audience is taken into factor. But when YouTube and the FTC were trying to get the settlement going, at least starting, they didn't include this general. Maybe YouTube's trying to protect themselves and trying to figure everything out, but they left this kind of hole. And I think that, I mean, this is, I think, what a lot of people are thinking. What they should do is 4Kids should end up taking videos uploaded and put it onto YouTube Kids. There's a reason why they have it.
Right.
General maybe should be split. It should show up on YouTube Kids and it should show up on YouTube. Because on YouTube Kids, you're not going to really make you're not going to make much money. It's just for viewership. And then there's YouTube, not made for kids. And this requires someone to sign in, to authenticate that they're this person and that there's this specific age. And therefore, there's a less likely chance that a child is going to be on YouTube. And that should differentiate the differences in terms of where their viewers are looking and should then be able to fit within the FTC and COPPA is kind of how I'm thinking. It's like, you already have YouTube Kids. Why don't you try to integrate it? I know it's not easy just saying do that because obviously algorithm and writing and all that stuff, but literally you're going to screw everyone, and even YouTube is going to get screwed over from doing this if they don't apply a general and then something similar to YouTube Kids for just children. because that
Right.
would comply with COPPA.
Right. See, I just don't think they're that lenient right now. It's just they seem to want to generalize everything into one category, like I said. And like you said, the loophole is just put all of your kids programming on one separate channel, because let's be real, YouTube is 13 and up.
Yeah.
And especially if you look at like some of the algorithms that some of these YouTubers have, like the audience that we have isn't geared for kids. Like you see a lot of viewers are like 25 and over, or like 45, and that doesn't how is that going to apply to any kid?
Yeah. How do
You
you
know what I
look at
mean?
your analytics as well?
Right.
And so it's just this kind of middle ground that they're just trying to figure out. And I just had an idea and I just lost it. But
Oh, it's
anyway,
okay. Yeah.
it's one of those things to where I think they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot.
Hmm.
But maybe they'll figure it out. Maybe they'll get it all. But it's kind of this. People are scared, and people
Yeah.
are going to leave. And heck, people have already started deleting their channels
Yeah.
just because of being afraid.
Yeah. Like there is one channel. There's a creator named Brian Hull who did like Disney impressions.
Yeah.
Great guy. Like seems like one of the sweetest guys on the planet. And I think he said in the video, like, he has to stop, because if COPPA comes after him, he is done.
Mm-hmm.
Like each of his videos could fund him up to over like $42,000, and that's huge.
That's generalizing. What that is the percentage that you have made on your video. So if you made, say, $10,000, they're not going to charge you $42,000. They apply a multiplier on that video, and that's going to determine on how much. That's still, if you add up how many videos you have, it could equal a lot of money. But in general, not everyone's going to get a $42,000 fine per video. That's just their max. At max, you're going to get fined $42,503. However, that's not going to be the case for everyone. And also, one of the things that they're kind of not really applying and addressing is that COPPA is the Child Online Privacy Protection Agency Act.
Yes.
Which means that it is illegal to collect data from children under the age of 13.
Right.
YouTube creators are not collecting data in any way. They do not select what video is played from, whether it's targeted or not. It's not their choice. So the fact is, COPPA and FTC are like, we're going to come after creators because they're breaking the law. It's like, no, we're not. We're uploading our stuff. We're not taking privacy stuff. We're not addressing, we're not targeting specific audiences. We just upload our stuff, and YouTube puts on their algorithm saying, this is who it's going to see, and this is everything else.
Right.
I mean,
like the creators are the innocent bystanders. So it's just like we're just uploading whatever we want. It should be the responsibility of YouTube to determine what is what. You know what I'm saying? And they should have to comply to all of these rules, not the creators. We didn't do anything. We're just making what we like.
Yeah. Or not me. I mean, but a lot of people, who's you and other creators, this is your job. You're doing this to make a living. You're not doing this to target 8-year-olds, and you're not doing this to target 60-year-olds. It just happens that an 8-year-old and a 60-year-old like your content. Generally.
Right. Like, we're not waving a piece of candy in front of a kid's face saying, look at my video. It's just like, we just do what we do.
And one parent did say that. She's like, I would rather have targeted ads about a toy to my child than to have a general targeted ad or general ad to my child that's about dentures.
Right. right.
Or whatever.
Like, what kid is going to want to see a commercial about Walmart?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's overall better. Technically targeting, yes, you're not supposed to collect the data, but overall it's supposed to be better. Anyway, there's a huge right now, one of the petitions, there's actually several, I think, going on. One of the petitions has about 850,000 signatures.
Yeah.
because they're trying to petition to at least have the FTC kind of relook at COPPA, or at least explain a little bit more in detail, because COPPA was written in 1998.
Right.
The
So
internet
it's
has
already like out of
changed.
date.
It's
Like
out of
this
date.
is
They addressed it in 2013, but they didn't really do much to the original content, the original
right.
act. So you're going, we're going to apply this 1998 data to 2020. It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work.
roll over. It doesn't YouTube, there was no YouTube in 1998.
Right.
There was no
Nothing
cell phone
close.
that was like this, to where you can walk around with a cell phone. That wasn't, I mean, heck, you barely had brick and personal telephones by then. Even in
Right.
2013, when they readdressed it, the first iPhone just had rolled out, or not even rolled out yet. So again, we're looking at, like, you're not thinking correctly. Do you
Right.
use a phone, sir? Do you use the internet, sir?
Right. Are you aware of what year this is?
Are you aware how the internet works?
Right.
And obviously,
I mean, 1998.
COPPA and doesn't affect YouTube only. It affects everything. They're going to be going
Mhm.
after Instagram. They're going to be going after Twitch. They're going to be going after everyone. So
Right.
no one's safe in terms of, oh, I'm just going to switch accounts. Sure. I guess if you switched platforms that is out of the United States, such as Vlair. Vlair, I think, is from Germany or something like that.
See, I've never even heard of that. Like
yeah.
that.
Maybe that doesn't fall under COPPA, because COPPA, I think, is affecting YouTube is a American product, and therefore YouTube is being one of the products that is being affected by COPPA. So yeah, if you go run to Vlair, but the thing is, the community isn't really at Vlair yet.
Right.
You're running into the same. So the question is, what is the alternative?
Right. And right now I mean, things are bleak because there is no like second YouTube. You know, this is it.
Yeah.
Like everybody, even if you try to go to another platform, like YouTube is still like the main source of like all uploading videos and, you know, getting your name out there and stuff like that. So honestly, I think that, and this should have happened a long time ago, YouTube needed competition. You know, it needed something to kind of knock it down just a peg.
Yeah.
And make people realize that, you know, this isn't the only place where you need to upload and you need to like share your stuff. You know, it's we needed some alternative. And because we rely and put so much on this site alone, like we're all in trouble.
Yeah. There's two platforms that I can think of that can technically, if they change their algorithm, change their platform a little bit, that could technically be a good YouTube alternative. It would be Vimeo and Twitch. Vimeo, obviously, you have to sign up a free account. If we're uploading, you only can upload ever so much per month, and then you have a max. So, and then you pay monthly if you want more. So obviously, it's not technically set up for the general public, but they technically could if they change things. Obviously, I don't think they will, but it's possible. Twitch technically is kind of working on that. They just now allowed for uploading public or pre-recorded videos and then premiering them, so people could be notified that a video is going on and people can watch it and come to your channel. Right now, it's not 100%, and it's more targeted towards video gamers and stuff like that. But that could also apply for animators, voice actors, game developers, and etc. to start hosting their content. Twitch would obviously have to change how their platform works a little bit, but it's so close. And Twitch already has a large following and a large status. People know about Twitch.
Yes.
So I think
absolutely.
Twitch would technically be the closest thing. If they change their setup and system just a little bit, they could be a good runner-up to a YouTube alternative.
We can only hope.
We can only hope,
because
and we'll definitely see in how it kind of plays out.
Yeah, because like you say, you know, you can kind of see it happening already. You know, Twitch is like the indirect like competition to YouTube right now, as
Mhm.
far as just like, live streaming and uploading videos and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So
Mhm.
I think someone has to step up the game over at Twitch and say, like, listen, you can go to YouTube all you want, but there's a site here that is way better, way more substantial, and we know what you want,
Right.
you know?
They just have to kind of pull themselves away from, obviously, maybe continue pushing forward the live streaming, but at least supporting the other aspect of uploading. Uh, so YouTube is like you upload pre-recorded data and you have live streaming. Twitch would be the opposite. You have live streaming and you can
And
upload pre-recorded data.
right.
That would technically, I think, be the best in regards to really pushing out an alternative as a creative platform.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, I think so too. I think so.
on
But we can only see. Time will tell
time will
if
tell, and
Twitch
we'll
will.
see. And the thing is, COPPA will technically still apply to Twitch and stuff like that. So
For
obviously they'll
sure.
still have to. But the thing is, they're not as far, in my opinion. I don't know. They're not as far, so they don't have all these algorithms, and they're not collecting data that we know of. So they're kind of not in hot water. But as long as they continue applying with COPPA and stuff like that, technically Twitch and Vimeo, I think, are the two good alternatives to YouTube. Everyone's like, Vlare. I'm like, I've never even heard of Vlare. I've heard of Vimeo, I've
Right.
heard of Twitch. Those are the
Right.
two. If you go to Vlare, who's going to go to Vlare? Not the general
Right.
public. You're going to. I don't know where
I
you're
mean, that's
going.
that's almost as bad as saying like, I'm gonna upload my stuff to Daily Motion now. It's
Right,
just like, what?
right.
Who has gone to Daily
Who's
Motion?
going to Daily Motion? I mean, actually,
Right.
Daily Motion is pretty big, but they still have like limitations in terms of what you can upload. I'm like,
Yeah.
my videos are 50 to an hour. That's why I can't
Right.
upload it to most of these platforms, because they're like, we have a max of 40 minutes. Great.
That helps nobody.
That helps
It's
not
Daily
me.
Motion to me is like the MySpace of YouTube. You know what I
Pretty
mean?
much.
It's just
Even though they started about the same time.
that's true. Oh my
But
good lord.
anyway, it's stressful. I mean, I'm not stressing too much about it because, one, I'm not making any money on YouTube,
Mm,
not even close. Two, my content is definitely not directed towards children. Obviously, I would say it's more general public, but even still, I don't think a child would find these interviews very entertaining. It's more
right.
talking about the industry. So unless an 8-year-old is interested in becoming an animator
Or voice actor.
or a
I
voice
mean,
actor, I would love to see. And obviously there are 8-year-old voice actors and stuff like that. I would love to
sure.
see more kids getting inspired into being a creative, because growing up, they're like, oh, you're gonna be a creative, you're gonna make no money, sir.
See, I hate that. I hate that so much. I hate when like you have like an adult who tells a child, you need to do this or that. You need to go to college. You need to get a regular job, and then maybe you can work in your creative stuff. I'm just like, don't do that to the kid. You know what I
Right.
mean? Inspire them to do what they love.
I
You
mean,
know?
my dad was a little sad and disappointed because I was planning on getting a bachelor's degree, whether in the sciences or in architecture or something like that. And
Hmm.
then in the end, I ended up transferring to a community college because that's where Jesse was. And I was at a university that didn't have any art programs. And I was like, I'm not going to go through 4 years of college and not take any art. Sorry, that's not
Right.
happening. So I transferred to a community college and graduated with an associate's of fine art. That's
Hmm.
amongst the lowest associate. That's the lowest degree you can get.
The general
And
degree.
I was like, I'm going to become a photographer. And my dad's like, why?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
because I like it. In the end, I am a photographer, but I don't make a living off of photography. I do make quite a substantial side income in photography.
Sure.
Actually, one of
Sure.
my projects that I just photographed, I just am talking to the interior designer right now.
Mhm.
We actually might be published in a magazine soon.
How about that? See, it pays off. It
Yeah,
pays off. It may take a second, but it pays off. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Because I think my parents were the same way too. It's just like they knew I liked to draw and they knew I liked to animate and stuff like that. But they were just like in their head, they were just like, okay, well, you need to go through college and you need to do this and that, and you need to make sure that you make an annual income, which I do. And I don't know if they're still like 100% about what I'm doing right now, but they see how busy I can get. Like I can get like super stressed, I can get super tired, and you're just like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. You skipped all of this just to do this, and I get it.
Yeah.
So
And you're like, I'm supporting myself, I'm making a living, and who knows, time will tell how much further you'll grow.
right.
And obviously the way YouTube kind of happens and COPPA, it's not going to shut everyone down, and no one's going to, it's going to be a hindrance. It might stop, it might kind of halt people, but something will pick up for people, and people will find a way to make money, whether it's YouTube or whether it's Patreon or Ko-Fi or Coffee or whatever it's called, or anything else like that. The people will find a way to support themselves so that they can continue doing what they love. So,
right. As far as money goes, that's the silver lining. It's like there are other ways to make money. You know what I mean? Is that you don't have to rely on YouTube to make your income.
So. Now, the only alternative is I could see YouTubers who make random, absurd content that is drawn to the public, and they're getting 2 million views, and they're getting everything off of AdSense. And if they lose AdSense, they're like, I literally can't apply this anywhere else. Right. As an animator, you're like, fine. I will go to the source and I will get hired and people will commission me and I will still make money. It just sucks that one of my alternative incomes is now either gone or just trickled. But at least you have an alternative. And I could see the people who are like, I literally make videos about Legos. No one's going to hire me as a Lego maker.
Right. Exactly. See, that's, you know, we were talking about like jobs earlier, you know, that's why I did or do commission work, because I know that like I can't rely on just that one thing to get me through, you know, because I can only upload maybe like twice out of a year, you know, and that's not much at all. It does well, but it's not going to get me by, you know. So it was just in my head, like, like, of course you want to be a YouTuber, but you also have to be realistic. Like, you need something to fall back on, you know, have a plan B, but still pursue plan A, you know.
Heck, YouTube should be your plan B. Everyone says this. Do not rely on one platform to be your sole income. Ever. As a voice actor, you can't rely on voices.com, voice123, voiceovers.com, etc., etc. You can't just rely on them because they can change whatever they want in your script. If that's your one source of income, that's why you have to market. That's why you have to audition. That's why you have to put in the work. Because otherwise, heck, I found you on LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Did we ever talk about how we met? Actually,
I reached out to you on LinkedIn. I think you or I messaged the other person first, and I'm generally messaging everyone as soon as I connect with them. That's how I market. And there was one project that you wanted me to audition for, Zeus. But that didn't fall through for me. But you're like, by the way, I actually have something else if you want to audition for it. I was like, sure. It's like, this is Tracker. He's a cute little sarcastic robot. And I was like, that doesn't fit. I went to Jesse and I'm like, I have an audition for a cute little robot. And he looks like this and he's sarcastic. She's like, huh? I was like, I know.
It went from Zeus to little robot.
Little cute sarcastic robot. Who wants everyone wants him to be his best friend. I will be your best friend. I will send we should send like happy birthdays from Tracker.
Oh my gosh, I would love that. I would love
that would be so cool. Someone's birthday, like, hey, it's Tracker. Take a look at Jenna Harley over here. Ooh,
that would make
marketing from Tracker.
Heck yes. Think of all the Tracker backpacks we could have.
Oh my, I want a Tracker backpack now.
Same here.
Jesse might make a
Yeah,
tractor plushie.
yes.
So
I'm absolutely
kind of in regards to that, and you did mention a little bit how you only can really upload maybe twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
What generally goes into creating an animation?
Oh boy. So let's. I was going to bring up Jenna Harley. We'll get that. We'll get to that later. But
it's coming.
So let's say like Kirby's Cafe. That's like one of the biggest videos on a channel.
Mm-hmm.
So of course it just starts with an idea. It's just like, what if I put this character in this scenario? What would they do? So you kind of map it out. You write it out. You see what works, what doesn't. And then you go into production. And usually what I do is I start with the storyboard first. Something very super limited. I play back, see what needs tweaking, and then I just move right on to the final stages. Like overlay and working on backgrounds, and that alone could take 2-3 months to do. So it's a lot of late night coffee drinking, a lot of talking to friends, saying I'm going insane, pacing around the room, and just questioning life in general. But
I'm having an existential crisis.
Yes, why did I do this? God, forget all these 50,000 subscribers. I'm done. But once it's done, and usually it's just good feedback, and that inspires me to keep going with like other animated projects and endeavors and stuff like that. So
right. So one video, and what? Let's see. Kirby's Cafe is what? How long is Kirby's Cafe generally?
I think it's like 2 minutes.
Okay,
2 or 3 minutes.
So 2 minutes. How long does it take you to create that 2-minute video?
Oh man. Well, see, it's funny too because it depends, because like if it's a commission, maybe about a month, but like if it's for my channel, it could take about like 2 to 3, sometimes 4.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just the extra effort I put into it,
right.
because it's like I have to make this stand out, amongst like all of these other like animators and stuff like that.
Right. So one Jenna Harley video, we timed it. How long is that?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so the read through that we did, it ended up being about 15 minutes, which quite frankly would kill me. So I'm already in my head like, okay, I'm gonna need some friends to help me out on this one, because this is going to be an endeavor. Like I already know, like Jenna Harley, I already knew was going to be very, very huge,
Mm-hmm.
and it was going to require just more than just one person to take this on.
Sure.
What I didn't know is that when I wrote it, it would be that long. So that being said, there's a lot more planning and a lot more development going behind it, making sure that everybody is funded properly, make sure that everybody is compensated properly. So there's a lot more development to that, rather than just a silent cartoon about a paintball who serves food.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah, but that being said, I am very excited for the possibilities, because I said this when we had our read throughs, like, you guys are amazing at what you do. Like, it is at least be gobsmacked every time, because I just want to just be like, I want to hug you all right now. It's amazing hearing it back, and just it's magic. It's absolute magic.
Well, it also helps that you created these characters around us and our personalities. You even went out and like, what are things you like? I was like, I don't know. I like ice cream. I like drumming. You're like, got it. I was like, I can sing. Okay, got it. And you literally implemented it into our characters. Heck, the Kibalsa.
Oh, yeah. I see now. I wonder if Shannon ever picked up on that because I was just
I think she did. She started laughing about that.
She did. Oh, it was great. It was great.
But,
well, I think that's important too because it's like you want your actor to like come through the character. You know what I mean? So you want to feel like you can relate to that character too.
Right.
So yeah. So like when I asked you like what are some of the things that you like dislike, I wanted to make sure the tracker had like all of that. Like there is something I wrote like later on that you'll see. That is just like, oh, you did ask me that. So that's I think that's vital. Just to make sure that the character interacts with the actor too.
Yeah. I'm the read through, even once we got Pat Seymour and we got Sarah McManus to read the Pat for the narration and Sarah for Annie, was just the entire way it formed and formulated and just felt and flowed. The script alone was entertaining. So I can't wait personally to see it and come to life. Now, what is your hopes for Jenna Harley, and how do you feel, or how do you plan on kind of sharing it to the world?
So I think for now, because I had written a script for Europa. I want to get that out there first and see how everybody takes it in. My hope is that it becomes bigger. It just becomes bigger. It gains a following and people want to see more about what Jenna and Tracker and what the story is going to lead up to. So hopefully with Europa alone, it can develop something that calls people back and say like, what's the next step? Where's Jenna going to go now?
Right.
And it's admittedly it's taking a lot out of me because I want to be very strategical and very smart about this because like if this goes under, like that's a whole story. That's like, what did I say last time? I think it was like 8 scripts that would have just like gone under, so there's a lot to it, but initially the main goal is just to make it bigger than what it is. It's step by step by step.
Right. So, and I think a lot of it is getting people excited for it, and a lot of it's luck. I mean, thankfully there isn't as many, say, original animations coming out as frequently as, say, video games. On Steam, 800 video games are released a month. October, the month of October, they had 800 releases on games. Right. Not saying that there isn't any competition and saturation and stuff like that, but building hype and excitement and stuff like that. You already got people going, I want Tracker to be my best friend, or I want to know what's happening. If you play off of that, I think it would be it could be very successful. Again, the script is solid from what we read. The animation, just from the test animation, is solid. Your teaser pilot kind of for the series is also very fluid, and honestly I think you're on the right track. Now it's implementing.
Yeah, that's the thing, is go time now, and it's like all of this is a crapshoot. It could either sink or it could either swim, but it's just the effort that goes into it now. Like I said, now is go time. Right. And it's time to get this made. It's time to get this made because the feedback has encouraged me, for like from you and from everybody, that like we're on the right path here. So,
right.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I think,
yeah,
I mean,
too.
This is me on the marketing side. I think that if you had like, I don't know, Jenna and Tracker, or just Tracker, or anyone like that going like, happy Merry Christmas, and you have like Tracker with a beard, and then people get excited. A 3-second video of Tracker going, Merry Christmas.
I think it would be cute. I think that would be some good marketing right there.
Cute robot. and a beard and a hat.
Yes.
And people would love it. But
Because honestly, who doesn't love a cute little robot? Like,
until you
come on.
get to know him, until he speaks. He's
And it's just like, oh, he's a jerk.
oh, what a jerk. I can relate to him on so many levels. Yes.
That's one of the things I like too. It's just like I didn't want some stoic kind of like lazy robotic like assistant. You know, I wanted him to have personality. And I'll say this too, and this is 100% in your career, and this is shows how professional you are. You're just like, you know, does he have personality? You know, does he have his likes? Does he have his dislikes? I was just like, oh my god, this guy gets it. He gets it. Because Shannon had Shannon Cookwood, who is Jenna, who is amazing by the way. She had linked me to two other actors who had performed Tracker 2, and they weren't bad, but it was just very, you know, it was very analytical, it was very stoic, and it wasn't what I wanted, you know. I tell you, one of the reasons why I wanted Tractor to have personality too was because of Bender from Futurama. Like, everybody knows Bender. Like, you know that he says, "Bite my shiny middle ass," and it's just like, you get it. Like, that's his personality. So I wanted Tracker to have that same kind of personality. You know, he can get analytical, but he can also be very sarcastic. You know, so I think you deliver that 110%. It's perfect. It's so perfect.
He's perfect. He's my little buddy. I
He's
even took a photo with him. I mean, there's a photo of me and him.
You
right next
sure
to each
did.
other.
Can you put that up? Because that was, oh my gosh, I melted when I saw that. I was just like, this is the best thing ever.
What advice would you give to someone wanting to get into animation?
Don't stop. And don't get discouraged, because those are the two biggest factors in giving up on something that you care about. Because I can tell you from experience, when it seems like nobody cares, that's when you're the most defeated. The year that I stopped going to college, there was a teacher there, and I won't say her name, who really did not seem to care about what anybody did. And I remember there was one class where she had us do like sculptures, and apparently nobody did it right. So we come in one day, and she has this projector up, and she has all of these just beautiful sculptures up on screen. And she goes through each and every one. She highlights who the person was, and she says stuff like, you know, this person did it in X amount of days. This person didn't have experience, and this and that and the other. And all of us heard her say under her breath, "Why can't you all be like that?" And that is soul crushing, you know. And I know, like, even before, I was just like, I want anybody, you know, to be in the art scene. But from that point on, it was just like, no one should ever have to feel like they need to give up on what they love to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's the best advice I can give you is just like, even if you hear that, ignore it. Like, keep pursuing what makes you happy and what gives you the motivation to do it in the first place.
Yeah.
So, and as far as just like, you know, like finding your art style, you know, work into it, you know, pull inspiration from like other artists, you know, like, you know, for me, it's like Tex Avery, Chuck Jones, and John Kay, and William Joyce, and, you know, work off of that, and pretty soon you'll have your own style with your own story and your own characters. And so that's the best advice I can give you. It's just like, keep being persistent.
And no one's a
protege. What you like.
No one, I mean, not no one. There's very rarely is someone going to be a protege, and that, I'm sure she was showing off proteges.
Oh
like,
yeah,
no experience, and yet they're able to create. majority of
Like,
the time
what
it
is
doesn't
that?
just happen like that. People have
Right.
experience in something else that developed into that.
Mhm.
But I do agree, just keep going, because even in voice acting, it's one saturated. There's a lot of people, and there's lovely people,
Mhm.
but there's a lot of people, and there's going to continue being more people and more people, etc. The thing is, you have to keep going. If you audition for a role, we'll say one role gets 100 auditions. If you're not cast in it, it's not because you're bad. It's just because there was one out of 100 people that fit the role.
They will nail it. Right.
That's
Right.
all it is. So yeah, kind of similar. Keep going. Don't let rejection or being stuck stop you. And I think the moment where you stop and you kind of just like, I'm just going to take a break, that's not good, because once you take
Yeah.
a break, you kind of get into this habit of falling out.
Right. And you start to lose that craft and start to lose that inspiration that got you there in the first place.
Mm-hmm. And if anything, change your perspective. If you're stuck drawing and finding your art, start writing. And if you're stuck at writing, storyboard or something, practice your animation. I think it applies in all aspects of the creative field. Is if you're stuck in one thing, work on another.
Right.
I'm working on marketing right now because auditions are just not what it was in the beginning of the year. This time of year, there's hardly any auditions that I can audition for, and that's just kind of how it is right now. But because of that, I said, screw it. I'm going to do my own stuff, and I'm going to start marketing to people directly, and I'm going to get work myself.
Right.
I think that's as a creative who wants to do this professionally, you have to grind, and you have to go, you know what? If the work isn't here, I'm going to find it here, and if it's not there, I'm going to, what's over there?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a hustle, especially when I hate to say alone, but like when you do it alone, it's more of a hustle and it's more of a grind, but it does pay off.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If you give it time and give it patience, it does pay off.
For sure.
In whatever that you do, write, animate, illustrate, voice act, dance, sing, keep practicing and keep pursuing, and eventually it will pay off, and don't stop. Do not stop.
In regards to Monologamation, Jenna Harley, and all your work that you have right now and for the future, where can people go to find more about you and more about your work?
So I am all over the web. You can go to Twitter and Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and just look up VT Animation. I have a website that's being developed right now, vtanimation.com. Or if you just want to reach out to me, email me at vtclark2010 at gmail.com, and I'll get back to you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking your time and talking with me.
Thank you for having me. This has been an absolute joy.
Thanks for listening to Behind the Slate with guest Trey. If you like this episode, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell button to stay notified. I look forward to seeing you again.
Everybody listening out there, listen, Christian is an incredible voice actor and a true professional. And I cannot recommend him enough.
Thank you.
Absolutely could not.
And you're like, he's small, sarcastic, cute. And I said, all right, well, that actually sounds like me. And I said, okay, besides the cute part.
Yeah. Basically, I think it's most important.
You're choking on the creamer if you have creamer in your coffee.
That's exactly what it is. That is a horrible idea.
How do I know? Voice actor.
Voice acting.
I'm like looking the other way, like, when are we going to start? For sure. Well, in regards, now it's me.